Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Diva. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff.
The beat's rising.
Okay. Silver Divas standing by the speakers, trying to just absorb the jams. Okay, so you're set up with a Sigma. Are you going to play well for the double off angles? That was a lot of DM use, but you made pretty decent use of it. It was in a good place. Micro here. I don't really want to micro here, and the reason I don't want you to micro missile here is I actually expect you're going to use your boosters pretty soon. I expect you're going to use your boosters to either go take control of this right, oh, that's too small, to either go take control of this right here and drive this ball off, so you'd boost at him, use micro missiles and your regular shots just to make him leave, not actually to finish him, and then you'd be sort of angling in from here to protect your team, or you'd a booster up to here, where you could do something similar. You're then playing from here, and you go, hey, I can shoot down, or if they come in at my team, I can shoot them at the back, etc. If these guys are coming in at you too hard, you just drop down on this side and you're fine. So I am expecting your booster use to really one of these two spots in the next really instant or so. So I don't really want your micros, because I want your micros either available to help you drive off this ball, or I want your micros available from here, which is a better poke position. We don't really want to put our micro missiles on cooldown for just doing poke, which is what these micro missiles are being used for, if we expect there's a good chance that we might dive someone in the next 3, 4, 5 seconds or so. It's okay to do poke micro missiles. It's okay to do a, hey, it's before the fight's really started, I'm just going to get some poke pressure out, but micro missiles are more valuable in actual dives to actually really threaten people, to threaten eliminations, and we don't want to have put them on poke cooldown when there was a good chance that we were going to dive, which I think there is. And I would have been totally happy for you to use boosters to drive back that ball. I don't want you sort of trying to escort your team through here. You can't really do this. Good. Angle to the side a bit. Better.
Routing power to forward barrier.
Sort of. Did you boost because you saw the Doom? Is that what happened? Yeah, that's not amazing. So you might have been boosting for your Doom here. Generally speaking, boosting up here to get control of this, good. Boosting up on Doomfist that aren't yet set to dive on your team is amazing. One of the best things that you can do to mess up Doomfist is to mess up his staging. Doomfist is going to be very unhappy if when he comes in, he does not have full health, which you've created a situation like that. You didn't get a ton of work done to him, but you got a situation where he's chipped down a little before he comes in. So like we like that. We would like to punish him before he's in. Unfortunately, you were a little late on this punish him before he was in. You weren't like up here earlier where you could punish him, really get pressure on him. So now he's coming in for the abilities, and you're not here to DM, which I'm not too worried about, but usually we wouldn't jump at a Doom that's already slamming in. We'd jump before he's slamming in to mess up his staging, or we'd have our boosters to react when he does slam in so that we can DM over him, because he's going to hit a big slam and then fist pump and then uppercut and fist pump again, but he's not going to get the elimination off of just the slam and the uppercut. He's going to need the fist pumps, and the fist pumps you can eat with your DM, so you'd like to be there to make sure he doesn't actually get the elimination.
Routing power to forward
Too far. You can't protect your team. Yeah, you can't. You needed to still have your boosters at this point. So what I actually wanted is I'd wanted you to use your boosters earlier so you could chip him down more. I'd wanted you to use your boosters earlier so you can force the space. And then you'd have your boosters back, or you'd be very close to having it back. And it wouldn't have been a big deal that, oh, whoops, I didn't know they had Doom yet type thing if you'd been caught 1 second down on boosters or something.
Defense matrix activated.
1 second. There we go. I live using Diva to Matrix Doom shots. I usually save the person who dives. Yeah, that works quite well. That works quite well. Okay, let's continue here.
Get through this.
Sure. Now, you have a couple options here. You can either step forward to touch this point so it doesn't flip, because you are the bulkiest person on your team, and that's a thing that you can do, and that's what I'd recommend that you do right now, truth be told. You go, I'm not really willing to let the point flip. I'm going to touch this. We've already eliminated one of yours. As long as I don't throw, I can afford to do this. The other option is you let them have the point, and you use your boosters to go up here and help threaten. You don't want exactly your Sigma's angle, but since your Sigma's up here, that's even more reason for us to go here and just say, hey, I'll anchor point a little bit. Good. Can't DM a Rhine charge. Can't do it. And you didn't really want to knock him away either. I don't want to boost him away. He's right in my face. He didn't connect with his pin. He's right in my face. I can do a ton of damage to this Reinhardt right now. If I boost her, I potentially knock him away. You actually stayed glued to him well there, so I'm not going to complain. Didn't need to booster it anyway, but you did stay glued to him during the booster, so that's good.
I will protect my home.
You do want to try to eat the stickies. Good. Okay. Can we go get some good off-angle positioning? I don't want you stacked on top of your Sigma, and I don't want you trying to, like, escort your team in front of your team either. What I want you to do is to get up here so that you're denying them from getting up here. You're denying them from having the option to, say, get a Genji up here, things like that. If they do get a Genji up here, you shoot them. If the Echo pops up here, you shoot them. If they're overpowering you, you can drop and rejoin your team, and you're in sight lines for your team to heal you. But you initially being up here and then potentially recovering your boosters up here is very good. It makes them take an extra step before they can get into the fight. And it gives you a place to threaten them from, to potentially shoot their Reinhardt down in the head, shoot their Genji down in the head type thing. It's not amazing micro usage.
Nerf this.
No. And the reason I don't want to do this is I just don't think your team, and I'm correct, I don't think your team is going to follow in to take advantage of this. Like, your team is pretty far away to follow in to try to take advantage of this self-destruct, and they don't have the angles to really punish this self-destruct to follow up in what would sort of be the elimination zone that's going on here. We don't want to throw our self-destruct just for, like, oh yes, the self-destruct is going to get an elimination or it's worth nothing. That's not good enough, because as people get better at the game, they're basically always going to be able to get cover against the self-destruct if there's nothing aiding the self-destruct. The self-destruct needs to be one threat, and people need to be going, I'm hard running from the self-destruct, and in hard running from the self-destruct, I simply can't pay attention to this guy that's shooting me over here, to this speeding Reinhardt that's running me down and swinging at me, to this Tracer that's coming in over here, to this Ashe that's dropping her TNT from up here. It needs to be synchronized. It needs to be the self-destruct is one threat that is allowing the other threats to work. It can't just be, oh, hey, I'm doing this, unless it's really, really high probability that you're going to get an elimination with the self-destruct, and I don't think you have that. Also, your odds are better because the Lucio's eliminated, so they don't have speed. But the Lucio was also just eliminated 2 seconds ago. So you're going to be like 4 seconds after an elimination, 5 seconds after an elimination, that you get another elimination. That's okay, but is that worth spending an ult for? It could be worth spending an ult like to get an elimination 9, 10 seconds after you got an elimination to keep the staggers rolling. There's a little less value when it's right, you know, it's sort of right just a couple seconds after the prior elimination, though, because it's not staggering them as much. You're paying an ult to basically push the reset timer of when they can push as a team back another 5 seconds. We'd really prefer to be pushing it 9, 10, 11, 12 seconds if we're going to ult for it.
Nerf this.
Owie. Okay. Okay, back out, back out. Just set up new angles. Okay, now you're gonna go aggressive again. That's fine. Do you hear the Genji behind you? Yeah, so there's a Genji and a ball behind you. So you do have the option of going, I'm going to peel this instead. Like, you're D.Va, you're super flexible. You can try to follow up on this, but it might make more sense to follow up to protect these guys instead. With the ult going off, does make more sense to go in. I agree with this decision. I'm just not convinced that you're aware of the potential to peel back there. You're going to lose your mech. Tuck right. Sweet, we've got a window. Why are we so far from cover? Why are we not just barely peeking this, gently shooting double strength, our double strength P shooter through the window at the Echo from here, where the rest of her team isn't threatening us. This is where we want to be, or at the very least here. We don't want to be out here. This is scary. This is scary. I don't mind bad aim. I really don't. I do mind lazy aim. Okay, the ball's gone. The ball is gone. You're not shooting at the ball anymore. That's a wall. That's the stairs. That's another wall. That's some more walls. Okay, you went from 12 shots down to 3 shots. You weren't shooting at anything for half of your clip there. 9 shots. For 9 shots, you weren't actually shooting at anything. You were just holding down the button. Again, like, it's a tracking weapon, but if you completely lose your target, you let go, and you go reacquire your target. You go reflick back to a new target before you start shooting and tracking again. Crunch joining the stream, bedridden and sick. Let's see some entertaining content to distract me. I hope so. I hope we got that for you. Those walls took the beating of a lifetime, though. That's true. That's true. Nice. Almost. You see, your aim on the Lucio was fine, and Lucio's a hard target. Not that you hit every shot on him, but your aim was fine. You just have to want to aim. Are we gonna mech? Oh my goodness, really? This is... The viewers will love it. I won't. Jesus. Okay. I can't hate it. You did need to boost her out. You needed to mech and you needed to boost her. Oh. Come on, give me control again. You can just boost right up to here, drive off the Genji. Boost up to here, drive off the Genji. When the Genji leaves, you just get to shoot Echo in the top of the head from here. Or you get to, from here, rain down Doom on them. See how much control you get if you get control of this? You're like, hey, I'm here. I can drive off him. I can then rain down damage on you, and even though the range isn't great on your weapon, if you get to shoot people, like, basically directly from above, it's almost all headshots, it becomes pretty respectable. And think of, like, oh, they'll want to peel back, or they'll try to rush through, and they'll be rushing into fight while missing a bunch of health, even if it's just, like, a third, or they'll be backing out and not contributing, and Genji will basically have to unstage himself, or he'll have to force his way through and dive while missing health. Like, this is what you want to do. This is great. You're here. I don't know why you're going in that way. Again, I don't know why you're doing this as opposed to walking yourself up over here and shooting from above. We like that. We can be shooting the ball from above up here. This would be pretty cool. We don't have to go to the point. We have other people on point. We have Lucios for that.
Get through this.
What are you DMing? Okay. Tuck left, tuck left. Too late. Owl call mech replay. Nick G calling out Crunch for not getting notified on time. I don't think that's what's going on. I think Crunch is in fact a watcher, and you too can become a watcher by joining the Discord and going into the get notification section below to react to get the roll and get pings when we go live. That's a fine micro missiles because you know this is poke phase. You're not going to die. Now we're taking good spot, but we're going to wait. We're going to wait for our team. Plenty of time. Only at 44%. You only need to win one more team fight. Okay, your team's around. You're good. You're good. Take your space. Take your space. Go up here.
Defense matrix activated.
And now you're going to work your way in more here. Doing this is relieving some pressure to help your Sigma get in. And now you can do the next step of you can booster yourself up over to here. And if you booster over to here, no one's really going to punish you. The worst that can happen is these guys can try to boop you off. But if you go here, you can push them if they try to boop you off. You can go ahead and shoot these guys instead. Like, think about how quickly these guys are going to back off and where are they even going to go. They're going to back off and then try to go like here. And how easy that's going to make it for your Sigma and your core to walk in. If you go, hey, I'm going to use boosters to go right here. Like, it's going to be so easy for your team to get in at that point. Okay. And you do ultimately make your way here. I don't need to drop yet. I don't need to drop yet at all. Especially because people are about to get lifted by my Sigma's Flux. Like, I could drop because I have beat going. I see the argument for that. But I'm actually more likely to waddle my way over here. If I have a booster, I'm likely to go over here. Probably not waddle because I don't want to go across this. I'm probably just going to shoot people from here. Or I'm going to use boosters. I might booster through this Echo to challenge her. And then finish my booster over here. That's what I'm looking to do. Okay. But they're going to go up. Why are you here? We don't need to take out Reinhardt. There's so many better targets during a Flux. We had free access to better targets. Oh. No, you make me sad. Oh, there's a Genji. There's an unsupported Echo. The Echo wasn't caught in the Flux, but the Echo's still the target that I earlier would have liked you on. And you are warning me about your terrible aim. Your aim's fine. You think your aim is worse than, like, for what this level of gameplay, your aim is fine. You think your aim is worse than it is. Again, I commented on the blaster stuff where you just went wild and weren't actually aiming with your buddy blaster there. But, like, you could have put adequate pressure on that Genji or that Echo based on what we've seen.
Get through this.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Really? You're not going to go through him with that?
Get through this. Taking off.
Your booster needs to be into the Reinhardt to make sure that the Reinhardt can't follow up on anything he hit. Now, he didn't hit anything, but I don't just assume that Reinhardt's missed. I assume that they hit something, so I'm going to booster sort of into the side of him. But hey. There's some risk of you getting pinned if you do that, it's true. But hey. Why are you not just remeching? That's over. So tuck bind cover and remech. Are you trying to get another remech limb? You are. That was not good. This one was at least set up. This one was, like, reasonably set up. This one you, like, tried to get cute and walk through the dragon to hide yourself, etc. So points for trying. But this is actually, like, even though I'm not a big fan, this is a reasonable play. This one, while cute, was not a reasonable play.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Sig.
Yeah, that was fine.
I will protect my home. Hello.
Yeah, you have good booster control in terms of hitting the boop, canceling your booster in such the way that you stay right on top of tanks when you hit them so you get good damage. We could be bringing our aim up a little bit against this Reinhardt, but we're getting plenty of spread damage on him. Sure. Okay, so like we don't have to fight the tanks this hard. We could go after the sports. We could finish off the Mercy that's got 70 health. I don't want to be here because if that Reinhardt is willing to swing at you and he can still block in time. We do actually generally want cover for our remix. Sometimes you just remake in the open. Sometimes you do it. But hey. Okay, that got a little scary, a little scarier than it had to. But the real things that we're seeing for you, D.Va, are we really want you to manipulate this high ground. Manipulate this high ground. We want you to help unlock stuff for the point. So, like, get control of this high ground to pressure them. Get control of this high ground to move them through. Get control of this to help move your team through. Get control of this to help get your team through. So, like, you're not going to stay with the team and bust them in. That's not really your job. Your job is to get control of points that will help your team get it. And above is usually good points to that. And sometimes to the side and front. To the side in front can be good situations for that too. Because if you're to the side and front, what happens is, hey, if you're here and you're shooting in like this and your team is back here, the opposing team can't really walk in here to challenge your team, or they get shot in the back, in the side, etc. If you're up here and the opposing teams come through, they get shot in the back, in the head, etc. If you're up here, it helps your team take space because the opposing team gets shot. If they don't back up, they get shot in the head. So I really want you looking for, I don't want to play with my team. I want to play to these other spots as best I can that let me put this pressure on the other team. And high ground, pressure onto the point like that, is really good for that. High ground also puts you in better spots to go, hey, Echo on the other team, Fair on the other team, Doomfist on the other team is giving my team a little bit of trouble. Well, now I'm in a better position to go after them early and put pressure on them. To go, hey, and even if I don't eliminate them, I'm going to jump at them, I'm going to do more damage, and when I fall, I'm going to fall on new high ground that I'll then be able to continue to pursue them from. I'm on here, and I can pressure the Doomfist. If the Doomfist jumps on me, no big deal. If the Doomfist doesn't jump on me, I can put hard pressure on him and never let him play the game. Like, we want this high ground. That's a big thing. We could talk a little bit more about boosters. We could talk about your tracking. We're not going to talk about the Calmex because the first one was fine, and I'm just going to deal with the other one. There was a second thing that was jumping out at me that I wanted to talk about a fair bit, and now I'm losing it. What was the other topic that I wanted to cover? It'll pop back up. It's fine. That's only round one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's catch up on chat here. This one is going to have a remake multi-elim later in the VOD. You can feel it. Okay. No, I mean that I was stoked that you actually got a notification. Oh, perfect. Temporal Coaching LLC VOD reviews are filmed in front of a live studio audience, which you could actually be here. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Maybe I should have bought up the Blizzard Arena when they sold it. I should have bought it up and done VOD reviews from the old Blizzard Arena. That could have been fun. Hi Temporal, I'm THK85. This is so weird to watch. I'm like a drunken master just without the master part. You're learning a lot. I'm glad you're learning a lot. Blizzard is going to fire me for ruining their maps. You did hit some wall. I wouldn't worry about your aim too much. Like, that was bad with the Buddy Blaster there, but your aim isn't particularly bad for a Silver D.Va in general. You don't need to worry about that. You can use the boosters during firing ult to get high ground, then drop off for the remake. You can. Christian asks, hi, can I ask you anything? What is your thought about how to climb consistently? How many heroes should someone play? How many hours? How many days? How many rolls? Ooh, that's a very general question. How to climb consistently is to constantly be working on improving yourself by stacking habits one at a time. Work at one thing at a time and get better at the one thing that you're working on. Review your own gameplay or get someone like me to do it. I'm going to find stuff faster and better than you, and I'm going to point you at the right things, but you can also do some self-review. You go, hey, review the gameplay to figure out things that I could potentially work on, pick one of those things, or have someone like me point you at which one to pick, and then work on that thing specifically to improve that specific thing. Then once you've learned that, work on the next thing specifically, then the next thing specifically. And if you get bad at the first thing, we'll go back and work on the first thing. You didn't actually stick it as a habit before you moved on. That is how you get better at Overwatch. That is literally how you get better at Overwatch. Like, that is how you consistently get better. In terms of how many heroes to play, don't do more than a couple heroes at a time, and I'd actually work on trying to climb on one hero at a time, trying to improve on one hero at a time, and then a lot of your other heroes will naturally catch up. You still might have to maintain a pool for a team. You might have to maintain a pool so that you have a little diversity. If you play on a team, if you want to have like a hit scan pool or an off tank pool or something like that, but I would not be trying to get good at 6 heroes at once or anything like that. I'd say 3 is the max, but honestly, I'd be working on one at a time. That doesn't mean that you can't later have a pool of 6 heroes, but you learn them one at a time. And once it's like, okay, I'm done working on my D.Va, now I'm going to go work on my Sigma. Might still play some D.Va, might swap to D.Va every once in a while if the situation really demands a D.Va, but I'm working on my Sigma. Now I'm working on my Zarya type thing. Spilo said play 3 heroes max in a single role and play at least 2 hours a day. I don't think I strongly disagree with anything that was said there. I would be a little careful with the play at least 2 hours a day. I think that's generally good advice, but I would be careful not to let that force me to play on days that I am just wiped out mentally and I'm going to play terribly, or to play through heavy tilt. I would be careful about both of those things, but generally speaking, that's true, yes. And at each thing, get a temporal VOD review. His rates are in the Discord. Thank you, Pla. Thank you. This sounds like a video topic, perhaps. I mean, I've done this video topic. You want to see my video? The video is called, it's on my Ask Temporal playlist, and it's how to go pro in Overwatch, or how to make OWL, or something like that. Or maybe another Reddit post reply. Yeah, I know, but I have trouble choosing a main role and then picking only 1 to 2 heroes. Oh, okay. Well, if it comes to that, play the roles around. You don't have to immediately do this. You can play the roles around, play the heroes around until you figure out what's fun to you. And then once you find a role that has a couple heroes, 2 to 3 heroes you like, maybe one that you can stand, there you go. You found a role to play. 10 heroes for the purpose of variety, that's fine. But is it okay to have a hero pool like Rein, Winston, and D.Va, for example? Rein, Winston, D.Va. Yes. That hero pool is fine. Rein, Winston, and D.Va is a fine hero pool. You are a main tank player who has also learned an off tank, so that if they're paired up with another main tank player on ladder, they can still play D.Va to not just throw the match. That is a reasonable hero pool. And as time expands, you might go, okay, now I want to add Orisa to my hero pool. Like, that's how that would work. I forgot about that video. I watched that one too. My memory is just terrible. All good. All good. Okay, back to the review. I've been distracted by chat long enough.
All systems operational. D.Va, ready for combat. You remind me of someone. You're so serious, though.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Nothing's gonna stop. Activating the barrier.
I'm gonna shoot you down.
Here you are.
Activating.
I don't really want you going the same direction as your Sigma. When you double off tank like this, it's even more important than usual that you double off angle. If your Sigma's going this way, you need to be thinking, I'm going to go this way. Or maybe you know your Sigma's going to go out this way, and you're going to post out this way, and that's going to be your double off angle. But you really don't want to be pushing up together. You need the directional power to make up for the fact that you don't have the explosive engagement potential. You don't have the Ryan Bear that you just get to push forward with. You don't have the Winston leap and bubble that is just like explosive. You need to play a slower poke game. You're playing to a poke win condition when you're playing double off tank. You can't help it. You just are. And that means we're going to play for multiple angles, for multiple pressure like that. We're going to play a little slower game and either get a big enough of a pressure lead that we're willing to commit, or you guys aren't going to like it and you're going to push at us. And then pushing at us, you make our angles on you bigger so we do more damage. And then we react with boosters where we need to. You have to. You have to when you're double off tank. And this isn't that. This is better. Sort of. Except that I actually want to go that way. Better. Okay. Sure. And swap sides. You can literally swap sides on this. Do you see anything that's going to stop you? Do you see a Roadhog hook? Do you see a hack? Do you see a Roadhog hook, hack, a rock, anything that's going to stop you from boostering across and taking this? I don't, so let's do it. Like, you could go, no, it's too dangerous. I want to clear these people out. That's fine. If you want to clear these people out first, that's perfectly fine with me. But we're looking to win by going, hey, we're going to pressure these guys from multiple sides, from multiple high grounds. The point's not unlocked yet. We don't need to touch. If you want to clear these guys out first, that's fine too. No. You just committed hard to this fight, and you're only up 1. And I don't think you're going to get punished for this, but you might. And by you, I mean your team. And I don't mind, by the way, committing when you're up 1 isn't like a bad thing, but you're better off generally going, I can hard commit like this, but my Sigma is going to be super slow to follow me. My team is going to be slow to follow me. It's generally better to go, I'm going to use my advantage to invest that into creating a bigger advantage. To invest that into creating a bigger advantage, eliminating these guys, than to go, I'm just going to immediately hard dive and my team's going to take advantage of it. Your team isn't really set up to do that, but so be it. Oh, you and Sigma know each other and we're in voice chat, so you can work on that. Perfect. Yes, if you two know each other and play together regularly, absolutely. Get abusive about taking off angles together. Get abusive or taking separate off angles from each other. Get abusive about splitting high ground so that you're both raining on them, so that when they go to deal with one of you, that one of you backs off while the other continues to deepen their angle. And then they turn and deal with the other and they back off, and the first one deepens their angle. You can get abusive about that. Good. Put the pressure on Echo. No. Don't just be like, hey, I'm shooting at ball because I only trust my aim to shoot at ball. Shoot at the much closer Echo. Your damage against her, she's much closer to you. Your damage is going to be a lot better. Yes, I know the ball is weak. You're afraid. You're afraid to shoot at squishies, aren't you? Okay.
Boosters engaged.
Wasn't the Sigma reviewed yesterday or the day before? Yes. I thought by 2 down you would win the fight already, so I guess the point becomes press the fight when everyone is ready for it then. Well, you can. I mean, they weren't down 2. They were only up 1 if memory serves. Once they got the Lucio, they could press it. But they weren't. When I was calling it, I believe they were only up 1. And it's not like pressing the fight. Like, there's situations where you absolutely hard rush when you're up 1. There's absolutely those situations. But this comp isn't particularly fast. Even with the Lucio, this comp isn't particularly fast. It's got a Sigma, and it's got a Sigma that can't follow in terribly fast. It doesn't have a ton of brawl power. We're playing a poke comp whether we like it or not. We have a Sigma, a Diva, a Echo, and a Hanzo. So we're going to just continue, like, rather than rush it and give them a chance to get back into it, we like to make our angles even stronger and go, hey, the point doesn't unlock for another 8 seconds. Let's get more of a poke lead. Why not? Type thing. Yes, Blah, I believe it was. I'm not sure, but I believe it was.
Time to raise my APM.
Why are you DMing? Okay, cool, cool.
Time to raise my
They're not looking at
APM.
you. They're not. They should be, but they're not. See how McCree's weapon is still pointing off the edge? No one's looking at you. You just wasted half a DM on nothing. Sure.
Nerf this.
So again, this isn't amazing. Because while the self-destruct might feel like, hey, it's in a good place, it's going to force them to rotate, and it will force them a little bit into the open where your team can shoot at them, your team isn't really getting to actually shoot at them when they're running from the self-destruct. You see what I'm saying? Like, the only real threat to them is the self-destruct. It's nice that the self-destruct will probably move them into a place that your team will be able to fight them, but you really want your self-destructs to be threatening teams while your team is also threatening them. And it can be okay to use self-destruct as initiation, but that's the self-destruct is being used as initiation that your team is initiating on. Not like it's being used as initiation or like it's an initiation. The opponents are advancing at you. You throw your self-destruct and your opponents don't have a choice to back out. Like we don't want to be doing this. Your self-destructs tend to be a little isolated. Like these guys are kind of isolated from your team when you're throwing this. So if they just go, oh no, we're just going to stand here and we're just going to shield and block the self-destruct and our already weak shield is going to break, but then you're out an ult and we're just out our shield, that's a great trade on their part. I don't think they're going to do it, but they absolutely should do it. You see what I'm going to get here? Like, these have to happen when that's not an option for them, because you have your Hanzo standing right here who's going to slam them. You have your Sigma standing right here who's going to throw rocks at them. You have your Echo flying over here. Like, you want these to be more on the engage. I'll show you the timing in a second. Oh no. He's got something in common with his Sigma buddy. That shouldn't have worked.
Nerf this.
Yeah, there's a boop. No, there's not even a boop. Reinhardt just put his shield down? Yeah, Reinhardt just jumped. Okay. Like, the self-destruct is wrong, but it's like a 4 out of 10 self-destruct. It's not... It's crazy that it got that much value. I did expect it to get some value. The value I expected it to get was forcing the opposing team into a fight without resources. That's what I would have expected it to get, even though it didn't really force them in. But hey, I'll just be mad. Okay, so again, if your Sigma's here, we want you, and you've had plenty of time, more like over here. Where if they go, we're going to press into the Sigma's into core, you're shooting them in the back. If they go, we're going to clear you first, you get to just back up around the cover, and in pushing you, your Sigma and team get to shoot them in the back. You don't want to both be in the same direction of this doorway. You want to be split. And because you're the more mobile one, who can more easily get out, you would generally be the one over here. Cool. I don't need to just walk at him. Like I can take myself a little bit of an angle. I don't want to be totally in the open. Yeah, that's what we were worried about. Good. Why are we boosting? Like okay. I'm still not sure why we think DMing charge does anything. Cool. I can just shoot at Reinhardt. I don't need to use boosters. I don't need to use boosters at all. I'm also a little hesitant to use boosters when Mercy's still on the other team and I haven't seen her use res yet and there's 2 people down, because I might want my boosters to interrupt her res. So I'm a little hesitant to use boosters here when I'm perfectly happy to shoot the Reinhardt from here. Oh, not spreading her wings for a res yet. Yeah, didn't really need this. you also are really attracted to going after tanks, like really attracted to going after tanks, and you know that that Mercy got left alone, and look how weak she is. Now, someone else is on her right now, that's why she's that weak, but someone was on her even before the Reinhardt came in. Like, you absolutely had the option of, instead of going for the Reinhardt, going after this squishy. And this is not the first time that this type of situation, okay, this is maybe the juiciest that it's been, but this is not the first time that you've really prioritized the tanks heavily when there's other good options. Did we not hear the high noon because I was pausing too much? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So again, by using our boosters, when you use your boosters, you're taking away your options. You now don't have the option to use your boosters somewhere else for 4 seconds or so. And that is going to be seen as an opening to use High Noon. That is going to be seen as an opening to use Resurrect. And they're correct. They're correct to wait until you commit your boosters. As D.Va, you are incredibly flexible. You could stop the res from going off. You could fight the Reinhardt and do a lot of damage to him. You could block out the High Noon. You could even potentially juggle Lucio a bit to boop him up so that his beat goes off slower, so maybe he gets eliminated. You could stop an Ashe on an angle from getting value. There's a ton of things that you can do as D.Va, but you can't do them all at once. So you have to think, wait, am I getting something good out of this booster use, out of this DM use? Like, what really is big about D.Va is, what are we actually giving up versus getting when we do stuff? And I don't want that thought to paralyze you. Like, it can be good enough what I got out of this, even though something bigger got through, and eventually you just get better and better at your decision making, better at your, well, what do the opponents want to do right now? Well, I looked at this and I told you the first thing I thought that they wanted to do was, I figured that they wanted to get a res off because they're, they've lost some people. A res could be a big deal. So I'm wanting to save boosters for res. But it turns out, if while waiting for res, you went, oh wait, there's a McCree High Noon on an angle, that's something else that you could have seen and been like, maybe that's the biggest thing that they want to do. And maybe you then go, and when he does that, you block him out. Or more likely, he doesn't do this because you're not moving. You're not getting as much damage done to the Rein, but you're getting most of the damage done to the Rein, at least half the damage done to your Rein, and you're, whether you recognize it or not, blocking out these two moves. So, like, there is an opportunity cost to this stuff, and that's why at the very beginning, like early in a fight, in the staging thing, as people are taking position, you can aggressively go take high ground with boosters. After that, you have to think more precisely about, what am I doing with my boosters? Am I playing forward with these boosters? Am I playing back with these boosters? What do they want to do? What's going to happen? And this is just the same game that'll happen with people watching your defense matrix, except it's with your boosters, of, hey, if I use my defense matrix to block out this flashbang, is a grav going to come in while it's deactivated for a second? If I use my DM to block out this storm arrow, is there going to be a blizzard that comes in afterwards while my defense matrix is either out or on its 1 second interval cooldown type thing? Your boosters should be treated exactly the same way. All of D.Va should be treated that way. So you really need to think about, you don't just get to think about, oh, I'm dealing with the tanks. You're thinking about the whole enemy team. And that's hard. And I don't want to overwhelm you with that. So I'm going to gently be like, hey, be aware that this exists, that there's opportunity cost for everything with D.Va, and that D.Va can go everywhere, and that there's a little more option to pay attention to their backline and a little less attention to their tanks than you're currently doing. But I've sort of pulled back the curtain a bit and gone, this is what D.Va is actually like. And hopefully we haven't overwhelmed you, and I'll give you a simpler version of this sort of at the end of the VOD here. Okay. Let's go here.
Let them up.
Cool. It has to be Mercy. You can't beat McCree anymore. You have to beat Mercy. And you can, because the McCree doesn't have flash anymore. Nope. Has to be Mercy.
What is that melody?
Highlighting our defense point. 다시 완벽하게 작동한다.
They already flipped it, so it doesn't matter. I don't really want this fight. Yeah. It's fine. Sure. It's fine. I'd have probably turned that into a self-destruct, but that's minor. So this, again, would be a perfectly fine self-destruct. If you throw a self-destruct and you just throw it into this and let it slide down on this, they're going to have a really tough time. Because now they're in this situation where they want to hold their shield up as they're approaching you guys. But there's also a self-destruct behind them. So they're like, do we stay in here? Do we keep advancing? Do we turn around and wait for the self-destruct to go out? Do we try to rotate in here? And any decision that they make, either the self-destruct gives them trouble or your team gives them trouble. And if they all try to huddle back here and wait, you take their McCree. These are the things that you actually want your self-destruct to do. You want the self-destruct to be when your team is more threatening to the other team, when it actually is forcing Devil's trades. That's what we're really looking for with our self-destructs. Why aren't we staying on the McCree? He's to your right.
Nerf this. Bailing
Less interesting. It's probably the win regardless, but less interesting. Jesus. Okay. I'm sitting here trying to upgrade your self-destruct, so they're just like, nope, we're gonna get eliminations anyway. Okay. So. Most important thing. A bit like you would use Bob, Crossfire, sort of. Exactly. That's a great way to think of self-destruct, where you're going, hey, I would like my self-destruct to go off in such a way that the other team is sort of threatened by it, similar, and they're also threatened by us at the same time. That's a thing that we'd like to do. You can also think of your self-destruct sort of like a beat or a transcendence, where it's like, this is a power play where we're brawling, we're fighting hard, or we're about to be brawling, and I'm throwing the self-destruct up and over, and now the team sort of has to respect it. They're worried you guys have a burst of power that's like they can't just fight you. They have to sort of run. They have to sort of deal with the self-destruct. And it's sort of like you would have a beat or a transcendence going for you to brawl during. So if you think of it as sort of like a cross between a Bob and an support ult, an aggressive support ult, like an offensive support ult, you'll do quite well with that ult. That's how you want to be thinking about it. Okay, so things for you to work on. We talked about this already. Get your high ground, particularly early in fights. Try to get either in front of and to the side or above the opponents in such a way, that it protects your team. So like if you're up here and your team is here, your team is sort of protected by you being up here. If they get pushed on, you shoot enemies in the back. You can also throw DM in this direction. You can throw a DM over the enemies. If the enemy shoot at you, you take a step back. These are places that we want, and taking places like this ahead of our team gets our team all of the space up to here. Like if we're here, our team has the space up to here relatively decently. We can force that pretty well for them. So that's what we're looking to do, and that's really going to wrench things open, both for our team and for our Sigma. We also want to, in general, take different angles than our Sigma. When it comes to winning, if we're regularly playing with a Sigma, we go, hey, you're up here, I'm over here. Hey, you're over here, I'm over here. If core's with you, that's fine. If core's with me, that's a little less good, but we can deal with it. And we're going to go like this, and as they get like this or like this, the other group gets to shoot them in the back, even if the other group is just you. If they push you, you run away, no big deal. That's what we're looking to do. That's how we're looking to play. That's how we sort of take space with Devo. We take space and then we're able to enforce it. Really, she's more enforcing space. But you know, we can wrench stuff open sort of one step at a time, like we talked about on that previous map, where you take the super high ground, then you go above the ramp, and then when you're above the ramp, the other team has to back up, and that lets your team push in. That's what we're looking to do. We use our angles to wrench things open for our team as Diva. And then we take opposite, we continue to take opposite angles, or at least different angles, not necessarily hugely opposite, like this one, for example, where we put one there and then there. That's a really big angle, but smaller angles like this and this can be fine too. So that's the most important thing that you're going to get. The second most important thing I'd like you to work on is I would like you to work on the self-destructs. I know your self-destructs got lots done, but they were fundamentally all very upgradable. All of them were very upgradable. We're looking for our self-destructs to be the self-destructs go off, or the self-destructs make the opponents run, the self-destructs make our opponents deal with them while our team is threatening the other team. That's what we're looking for with our self-destructs. Unless we've gotten a ton of resources out of the other team already, and they're like retreating and they've gotten away, but then our self-destruct gets them because they have no resources, that's going to be the exception. The majority of the time, we want our self-destructs to be, if the self-destruct gets an elimination, great, but we can't actually expect to get every single resource out of them so that they have nothing, they have no speed, they have no Mei wall, they have no Rhine shield, they have no flashbang because yes, that will stop it. They, don't have any cover, anything like that. What we're instead going to do is it's threatening them while our team can punish them. That's what we're looking for with our self-destructs. And that might mean that we're sending 400 health mechs in. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Self-destructs don't have to, be at 600. They don't have to be at 1 health. That's perfectly fine. So that's the second thing that I'd give you. The third thing I'd give you is I don't want to go into the hey, never use your boosters. It has an opportunity cost. I don't want to paralyze you with fear there. That's not what I want you to do. But after you've worked on these first two things one at a time, I want to let you into the world of don't be afraid to go after targets that aren't tanks. Based on what you told me, I think you think your aim is worse than it is. Or maybe this was a better game than you generally remember for aim for you. Maybe on other days it would be worse. I think you think your aim is worse than it is. For a Silver D.Va, this aim was perfectly fine. You are absolutely reasonable to go after Echoes, Genjis, Mercies. And even if you don't finish them off, that's fine. You're not expected to always just assassinate people that you dive at as D.Va. What you're actually sometimes doing is you're going, hey, there's a McCree up here. Let me go dive this McCree up here, and maybe I eliminate this McCree. Maybe I just force this McCree to leave. If I eliminate him, that's a win. If I force him to leave, that's a win. If he eliminates me, that's an unacceptable loss. But if I drop and get out okay, that's actually okay. Because it meant I stopped this McCree on the high ground with an off angle from putting a bunch of pressure on my team while I was in his face. And he was a threat that needed to be solved for my team. So I did something useful. Or if I go pressure their Ana, and she gets away, or I have to leave or whatever because friends come and help her. Like I go, hey, let me dive your Ana back here, and her McCree comes and helps her. Her Genji comes and helps her, and I go, okay, fine, let me use my boosters and leave now. That's also fine because you freed up a bunch in the fight to go happen as long as you don't get eliminated for it. So I want you to be a little more willing to go after targets that aren't the Reinhardt. I'm not going to get into exactly when you should go after this. Like, yes, going on off-angle high ground hit scan, very high priority. That is something that you should generally do. Paying attention to mercies that could res, noticing when people are alone and low health and are available for you to booster. That's all things you should notice. But I'm actually not worried about the specifics right now. I just want you more willing to go, I can shoot at things that aren't tanks. Just because a tank is in doesn't mean I have to booster onto the tank and fight the tank just because there's a tank still alive. I can fight the Echo that came back and is close to me as opposed to the ball that's already off the map. Because I'm going to do way more damage to this. And it's not like, oh, I failed if I didn't eliminate the Echo. If she has to use flight and go super far away, she's going to contribute less to the fight for a while. The McCree's going to contribute less to the fight for a while. I want you to be willing to do that and get some practice doing that because you're in your own head right now on the aim thing. And that's causing you to go after tanks too hard. Not that going after tanks is bad. You can punish tanks that overextend. Okay, if you or anyone else has questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If people are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. Stupid plays sometimes get rewarded. I want to build habits that will reward me when I get to a higher level. Exactly. There you go, THK. Okay, let's catch back up because I'm a bit behind on chat, I know. In practice, with a Rein Winston D.Va hero pool, you would be playing Rein 95% of the time. In most metas, yes. Right now, You could play a fair amount of Winston. And also even if you were on low level ladder playing, like, it depends on the level that we're talking about, but even if you go down to low level ladder, if you're really trying to play not to get better but to maximize SR gains, or even to learn some skills that are ladder abusive skills, playing to take over a game for a round on Winston to get them to swap to a bunch of hard Winston counters, even if your team is screaming for Reinhardt, and then swapping to Reinhardt can be pretty good. Your Reinhardt isn't going to be able to take over the game the same way your Winston did necessarily, because a lot of the things that make Winston's life difficult also aren't great for Rein, but you can do things where it's like, by playing Winston and aggressively taking over the fight, you won a bunch of team fights that you might not have otherwise won, and now you're playing a more standard game type thing. Like, just because the team can handle your Reinhardt, or just because the team can handle your Winston, doesn't mean they can handle that. But then we get into things that are almost more like skills that we teach to top 500 players who are trying to push new peaks, who are trying to push to show, I'm not about playing right Overwatch anymore. I'm more about playing, I need to hit a high peak so that I can get scouted, a high peak so that I can get scouted type thing. And that becomes, anything above really 4.4K really becomes about how to abuse the ladder specifically, not about just playing better fundamental Overwatch. And you're really sort of getting into that territory. Anyway, tangent. You and Sigma know each other. You have chats. Yes. We talked about that, the two of them winning the fight. Don't play Mangled Sigma. Yep. Yeah, when you're playing Poke, so Mr. Sonic the Auto, what happens is every team fight ends in a brawl phase. Almost every team fight ends in a brawl phase. Even if you're running D.Va Sigma, you're going to end in a brawl phase. But you're looking to start the brawl phase a lot earlier in a Reinhardt Zarya comp than you are in a Sigma D.Va comp. Like, if you're running Reinhardt Zarya Reaper Mei, you're looking for a real fast brawl phase. You're looking for the majority of the fight to be the brawl phase. If you're running a Sigma D.Va Ashe Widow, you're looking to not take that brawl phase until you're up maybe 2-3 people. Like, that's what changes. Excuse me there. Sorry about that, guys. That's what changes in terms of, hey, how quickly you rush into the brawl phase is going to change based on what your two comps look like. And the more poke-based you are, the more you need to be ahead by before you take it to the brawl phase. 3 days ago, Temporal reviewed an Ashe, which is also a mate. He's playing BAP here. Who was your BAP? I thought I recognized your name, THK. Your BAP. Oh, yep. And I recognize that name as well. Okay. So you guys have yourself a nice little trio going here. Cool. You guys going to build that out and turn that into an organized team at some point? Just like based on the people that you've played with, that you've enjoyed, sort of go, hey, let's turn this into a 6-stack. And maybe we don't queue it on ladder, or maybe you do. Maybe we do a little bit of scrimming. The game gets more fun in organized play. Just saying. That said, it can be a little hard to find silver and gold scrims. They're out there, but it can be a little harder to find. If D.Va and Sigma play together, they can practice throwing D.Va bombs past Rein and Sigma rock the Rein in the back when he turns. You could. The Sigma that just rocked everything on cooldown. That skin, yeah. I love that you explain why some solution is better than others. In most cases, you meet weaker teams where stupid plays still pay off. Look to make better plays. Perfect. It was Nano Cola. Yeah, I remember that event. Oh, and now you're talking about Pink Mercy, another thing that you missed out on. Okay. This was very interesting. Thank you for your help. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else chat-wise, but glad you found the review helpful, THK. Remember, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please do hit that like button down there. It's awesome. Or if you guys want to catch these live, you can join the Discord in the description below, and you can go to the get notification spot to get notifications so that you can see when these goes live so that you can ask questions, words, plurals, singulars, hard. Okay. Are you done for now, or is there another VOD coming? I think I'm done for now, unless my inbox has just been flooded with people that want to pay me to review them right now. I'm probably going to be done now. So I think that's going to be it. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.